The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, Custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support at sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and Apple, over 25 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with a wonderful lady who is an author and nutritionist from New York City. She's got a book out called The Plan and the Metabolism Plan. She's been featured in the New York Times as well, too. Best-selling author. She was featured on Dr. Oz, Huffington Post, CBS, NBC, Fox, etc. And she's also got a restaurant out there, which we'll talk about as well, too. And this is all making me hungry. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios in New York City, ladies and gentlemen, author and nutritionist, Lyn Genet-Recitas. Lyn, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely. I'm really excited. Now I've really hit the big time because I'm chatting with you. You come highly recommended by some friends who say you're absolutely amazing.
Oh my gosh, I feel so honored as well too, and I've been always want to talk to you as well too. I mean, you're like the ultimate as well too. Author, nutritionist, you've got your own restaurant, and you've been featured in the New York Times, also Dr. Oz, Huffington Post, CBS, NBC, and Fox, and also you just have your sayings. We'll get to those in just a minute. The originator of the Metabolism Plan. And before we get to all that, first of all, tell us how you got started.
You know, I started off being interested in nutrition just because I suffered from chronic pain and migraines as a child, and doctors weren't really able to help me, and I found that when I made some dietary changes, I just felt so much better. So, I did that. I started making my own food, and somehow or another, word got around, and at the age of 14, I started working as a baker in health food restaurants. And this was in Southern California. Of course, there's still the hippie movement going on there, and I met all sorts of interesting people, and it really wound up changing my life. So I started studying nutrition when I was 18, but always kind of balanced nutrition and working in restaurants, being a sommelier, opening up restaurants in Hawaii, California, and New York. And so it's always been a balance with me with enjoying good food, making people happy, but also making them well.
That's amazing, too. What are some of your favorite dishes as well, too? And, what is the special way of your favorite dishes?
Well, what I really love doing is reinterpreting dishes. When I first started out with my book, The Plan, which has been published in 15 languages, people said, I really love the food, and I love what it's doing for my health, and I love how much weight I'm losing, and I want to get my whole family on board. So can you make some Mexican dishes? Can you make some Italian dishes? Can you make some Thai dishes? Can you make Chinese dishes? So what I started to do was reinterpret people's favorite recipes and make them low inflammatory. And just doing some simple tweaks not only made the dishes so much easier to make, but everybody felt like they are having healthy comfort food. And that's what Lyn Genet's Kitchen, my restaurant in Harlem, is all about. So we have chicken parmesan, we have steak fajitas, we've got gluten-free, we've got vegan, loads of vegan and vegetarian options. We've got a great Greek lamb burger. So it's something for everyone to make them happy and healthy.
You're making me hungry already, Lyn. I love the steak fajitas idea. You also got spinning and salmon, CrossFit and cauliflower, running and raspberries, beret, and bison. So, bison, that is my favorite.
Well, actually, those are things that can make you unhealthy.
Oh, really?
So,
okay.
Yeah, those are the things that you think you're doing that are healthy, and they're actually coming to bite you in the butt. Making that waistline expand. So yeah, salmon, Greek yogurt, turkey burgers, all that stuff could be the very reason you're packing on the pounds. And what I teach people how to do is to figure out the foods and the exercise that are slowing their metabolism. And spinning and CrossFit are right up there. That can really stress out your body and raise cortisol levels and affect your hormones and, once again, make you gain weight.
Wow, I stand corrected on that one. I'm learning a lot from you already. So, yes, overexercise and healthy foods, raising your state of inflammation, and a lot more. And, of course, you also have the saying, think it's healthy, think again, and also chemistry, not calories. You can just tell us more about that.
Yeah, most people are actually under-eating, which is kind of fun news. So I find that most women need to eat at least 1,800 calories, and for men, at least 2,500 calories, preferably 2,800, to really maintain a healthy metabolism. But because we've been taught that it's a calorie in, calorie out, which is totally a myth, by the way, once you're over the age of 30, that we start cutting calories and we start slowing our metabolism because what our body thinks is that it's going into starvation mode. So when you find the foods that work for you, and it could be ice cream, it's definitely cheese and red wine and tequila, that's how I make friends. But we've been cutting out so many foods thinking that they're unhealthy. I can use bread as an example, and rice, and the foods that we're putting in, like the hard-boiled eggs, can be the very reason why, you keep gaining weight and you keep getting sicker. Because here's the thing, healthy foods, if they cause weight gain, they also cause inflammation. And inflammation is the basis for every single disease, obesity, and premature aging. And I can't tell you how many people have said to me, Lyn, I don't understand. My doctor says I must be lying. I'm having salmon. I'm having asparagus. I'm having strawberries. Why am I 20, 30, 50, 100 pounds overweight? Why do I have type 2 diabetes or heart disease? And it's the healthy foods that are causing the issue. So, Mike, when you go out for a fun dinner of nachos and margaritas, you're not expecting to lose weight, right? And that's a fun dinner, and then you get back on board with your healthy eating. But if it's the tuna fish that's affecting you or the sushi that is putting on the weight, you start to wonder why that number is going up on the scale.
Wow, that is amazing. And I was just getting ready to go out to eat with my wife and also some friends, for some tequila and some other goodies as well, too. And just to clarify once again, what foods are considered healthy and what foods are considered unhealthy? Let's just clarify once again.
Well, there's no such thing as a healthy food, frankly. What's healthy for me is not healthy for you.
Right.
And I can tell you that every person I have met over the age of 40 is eating at least 5 healthy foods that's causing inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
And what my books do is it helps you to find the foods that are causing inflammation for you. So, for instance, for me, and this as a former vegetarian, I can't eat a bean to save my life.
Really? Interesting.
Fish, highly inflammatory for me, but it can be totally awesome for you, right? So, in the beginning week of the plan, when you follow the diet, it's the least inflammatory food. So yeah, it's going to be stuff like rice and chicken and almonds and kale and broccoli and carrots, kind of normal stuff. But what starts to get really interesting is when you start to test things like cauliflower or sea bass or pork, and you wind up putting on 1 to 2 pounds. And that's what happens. So, Mike, have you ever spent a day saying, that's it, I'm going to eat as healthy as I can, and you step on the scale and you're like, wait, how did I gain weight? I had the cauliflower pizza, I had the steamed asparagus, I had the oatmeal for breakfast, and here I am gaining weight. That happens to people every day. Mm-hmm. My books explain why.
And that happens to me as well, too. And that happened to me several times in my lifetime as well, too. And also we'll talk about more about the plan, also metabolism, and a little bit of a cookbook as well, too. We'll get to that. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with author and nutritionist Lyn Genet-Recitas here on the Mike Wagner Show. We talked about the plan as well, too, and some of the foods that are healthy and unhealthy, and just gives us a little bit of guide and what can cause inflammation and weight gain and just about everything as well, too. And before we talk about the plan and metabolism, getting cookbooks, what was that one moment that influenced you into becoming an author of the plan, metabolism, and cookbooks?
Well, actually, totally fell into it by accident. I can write a good email, but I didn't know I could write a book. But there was an article that came out about me in a magazine called More Magazine. And in the magazine, I said, oatmeal is the devil. And I can tell you, Mike, when that came out, I woke up to 800 emails.
Wow.
And the next day, it was another 800 emails. And I was working from 4 in the morning till 9 p.m.
Oh, my
trying
gosh.
to answer all these emails. So I hired an assistant, and this idea that healthy foods could cause inflammation just caught on fire. And I was having book agents flying from all over the country offering, say, you need to write a book. This is an amazing idea. And somehow or another, I wound up getting involved with a really wonderful agency with an agent who discovered the South Beach diet and Dr. Weil. And thanks to him and the belief of the publishing company, they published a book, because when I was talking about inflammation and gut health, this is, 8-9 years ago, these were not common topics. So people thought I was crazy. I was a witch doctor. I didn't know what I was talking about. Of course, now everybody, it's all you read about is gut health and inflammation. But it was a wonderful journey and a wonderful process to take what I had worked with one-on-one and make a standardized diet that, as I said, has been published in 15 languages, and all over the world, people are able to use this protocol to find the foods that work for their body. And here's what's important. The weight loss is great, but at the end of the day, it's about being healthy. And if we can reduce inflammation, we can take serious diseases and put them in remission.
That is amazing. And when I thought about when he said oatmeal is the devil, I can imagine Wilford Burnley just coming at you with hellfire and brimstone. I can imagine that. Hey, Wilford, is oatmeal really the devil? Is Quaker Oats Satan?
Well, you know what's funny is that if you have high cholesterol, and if oatmeal is inflammatory for you, and I find that oatmeal is 85% inflammatory, then it's actually going to raise your cholesterol. And
Really?
This is why cholesterol diets don't work and type 2 diabetes don't work, because it's not bio-individual, right? What you need to find is what works for you.
So in other words, with the book with the plan, you just go through every single food, almost like in trial and error, to see what works, what causes, say, inflammation, what causes weight gain, which causes joint pain, which causes depression, constipation. So it's almost like you're just doing a little kick and choose, and then you find which ones work and pretty much which ones doesn't, and you kind of have like tailor in a way to where it's like, you love steak fajitas, but then it's like, steak can cause, joint pain, so you just kind of come up with something like, okay, maybe chicken doesn't cause joint pain, or let's say
exactly.
Exactly,
that's it. Most people just eat 30 to 40 of the same foods. Mm-hmm. So it's actually a much easier process than you think about. But that's a perfect example. If the strawberries are causing inflammation for you, or the turkey burger is causing inflammation for you, which both of those are 85% inflammatory, then have the blueberries or have the beef burger, right? So what I'm doing is I'm not saying you need to eat differently than the way you eat. What you need to do is make a smarter chemical choice. Mm-hmm. And when you can eat sort of kind of the same foods, then it doesn't feel like a diet.
Mm-hmm. And what are your thoughts on coffee as well?
Well, coffee is actually pretty wonderful. It's a rich source of antioxidants, not as much as tea, but I do find that most people do super, super well with 1 to 2 cups of coffee first thing in the morning. If you drink it in the afternoon, it starts to cause some inflammation, I generally see. So if you need a caffeine boost, have some tea or something like that. But yeah, we also have to balance joy. See, that's the important thing. If we try to do everything perfectly, I can't tell you how many perfect people are suffering from a lot of illnesses just because they're spending a lot of time making themselves neurotic, So that's why we introduced the red wine, cheese, and chocolate on day 4 of the diet.
Huh. That's something to mark down. I could do that when I shop. Red wine, cheese, and chocolate. Day 4. Hey, did you get that, honey? Red wine, cheese, and chocolate. Okay. And of course, while you're talking about coffee as well, I was just having a little bit of coffee as well. And you're right. It does give me great joy. And that's why when I have a cup of coffee, I enjoy great guests like you. So we got to have a cup of coffee just to spread the joy.
Exactly. There you go.
And also, we'll get to the cookbook as well, too. And you also have that on your website as well, too, at lyngenet.com. And let's talk more about the cookbook as well, too. And also maybe, just a couple recipes from the cookbook.
Well, one thing that a lot of people were interested is, the book came out and they're like, I don't know if I have the time to devote because it's a lot of cooking, because it's a very precise protocol. That's why we have such amazing results. We'll find that, let's say you're 180 pounds. As a woman, you could lose 16 pounds in a month eating over 2,000 calories a day, right? That's great. But maybe you don't have the time to follow the diet completely. So what I did was I took all these comfort food recipes and I made them all super low inflammatory. Basically everything in my cookbooks are 30% inflammatory or lower. And you test the recipes and you enjoy the food and you make them for your family and everybody's feeling great. Of course, now with COVID, people are cooking a lot more. They don't have an excuse to not follow the plan. But the cookbook is, it's food for everybody. It's how you hook your family into getting on board with the plan. So, they're great recipes that are super easy to make. There's a lot of gluten-free stuff because a lot of people might have a slight wheat sensitivity. And I discuss the nutrition, but I discuss it in a fun way. And like I said, there's everything from Greek to Thai to Italian to Chinese to straight old good American dishes that really make everybody happy. And they're super easy to make because, Mike, I'm from New York, and people's kitchens here are the size of a shoe closet. So you got to make it quick. You got to make it easy. You got to make it simple.
Mm-hmm. And that's a key as well, too. And what are your thoughts on the gluten-free diets?
Well, most gluten-free flours are super, super high inflammatory. So all the recipes that I use incorporate either almond flour or coconut flour, which are super low inflammatory. But when you're looking at the rice flour and the tapioca starch and quinoa and all that kind of nonsense, that can be even worse for you than gluten.
Wow. That is amazing. Everybody's been pushing gluten as well, too, or gluten-free, and I'm getting some good thoughts from me as well, too. And what about the keto diets and the paleo diets? What are your thoughts on those?
Well, the keto diet tends to work better on men. Remember, the research on it has been really small, and most of the research has been done on people with epilepsy, and it's a very effective diet for epileptics. I do find that for men, it can work for a short period of time very well. For women, what I've seen is that it's really drastically raised their cholesterol, and after the initial weight loss, they tend to stabilize and or put on weight. The paleo diet is definitely a better way to go. That being said, grains are really essential for a lot of B vitamins and a lot of nutrients. I do feel like small amounts of grains and flours are really important, and it's also, once again, joyful. But it's all about finding the grains that work for your body. And most people do very well with having, one grain a day, whether it's your sourdough bread or whether it's your wild rice or whatever makes you happy.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of grains, what are some of the grains you believe that are healthy, and what are some of the grains you believe that are unhealthy in your book?
Well, basmati rice tends to have the least amount of starch and also the least amount of arsenic. Unfortunately, that's one of the side effects of rice, which is why so many gluten-free products are a problem, because they're high in arsenic, which is a heavy metal and your body can't break down. Wild rice tends to do really well. Buckwheat tends to do really well. So those are some of the ones that we go through. Anything that's fermented, like sourdough bread, super amazing. And even simple potato bread tends to be lower inflammatory. That's crazy enough. Things that tend to be higher inflammatory are these multi-grain breads, right? So if you have 12 grains in a bread, the odds are you're probably going to be inflammatory to at least 3 of them. So the takeaway from this is that you should never feel bloated after a meal. You should never feel gassy. If you do, that's a sign that you ate something that caused inflammation. If you're eating healthy foods and you're gaining weight, what you want to do is find out why. Because those healthy foods that cause inflammation are making you sick and fat, and they're slowing your metabolism.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of metabolism, you also got the book, The Metabolism Plan, and also the Metabolism Cookbook. And first, tell us about the Metabolism Plan book.
Well, the myth, and it is a myth, that metabolism slows as you age is completely incorrect. What is true is that your body's ability to produce certain enzymes and certain processes can slow down, right? So the diet that works for you in your 20s may not work for you in your 30s, 40s, and beyond, because you've lost certain enzymes and stomach acid and saliva. So when you're eating a food that causes inflammation, it also attacks your thyroid, which is your master gland for your metabolism. And when you overexercise, certain enzymes like superoxide dismutase, the production slows down. So instead of your body perceiving exercise as being something wonderful, it perceives it as a stressor. So what you want to do is you want to find the amount of time and the types of exercise that work for your body. So we have 2 types of folks, right? We have the people that really love to exercise, and they're probably exercising too much. And then the folks who think, I don't have an hour a day to spend at the gym, so I'm not going to exercise at all. And what we want to do is identify what does your body like. And for most people, it's going to be somewhere between 8 and 20 minutes every other day. That's all you need.
Wow, 8 to 20 minutes. So just like the the plan that you have to find out what foods are good, doesn't cause problems compared to foods that you're allergic to. It's like you just pick and choose, trial and error. And so exercise is the same thing, almost like trial and error. Like, say, a few push-ups can be beneficial to some, or a few push-ups can hurt somebody, or say with, lifting weights, maybe even like 10 pounds is fine, or even 10 pounds to 20 can really hurt somebody. That's what almost sounds like in a way.
Absolutely. So in the metabolism plan, what we have you do is we have you test foods on the odd number days, so 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, etc. And then we have you test your response to exercise on days 5, 7, 9, 11. So you test on the odd number days. And what you're looking for exercise to do is to enhance thyroid function, which I discuss in the book, enhance weight loss, boost your metabolism, and lower body fat. But all too often what I'll see is when people exercise too intensely is that they slow weight loss or even cause weight gain, they increase their body fat, and they slow their thyroid, which once again is the master gland for your metabolism.
Wow. So it sounds like it's almost like your thyroid saying, slow down if you exercise too much, if I get that correct.
Absolutely. I can't tell you how many people I've worked with that maybe they're not extreme athletes, but they were definitely over-exercising, and some athletes who have developed autoimmune disease because basically they kept pushing harder, and finally your body, your thyroid, your endocrine system just says, stop, I can't do this anymore, and you kind of go into a stage of burnout, which is really hard to recover from.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, somebody better have the guts to tell Arnold that, so.
Well, some people have the genetics to be athletes, but most of us don't. Mm-hmm. So rather than trying to take a square peg and put it in a round hole, what I've developed is a methodology for people to find out exactly what works for them.
Mm-hmm. Which also leads to the Metabolism Plan cookbook as well, too, vegan and vegetarian. You tell us about the cookbook as well, too, and maybe just a couple examples of dishes from the book. Yeah,
well, actually, I wrote the vegan and vegetarian cookbook. Here's the deal. When you're asking about paleo, you're asking about keto, you're asking about vegan. I don't care what diet you have, frankly. Mm-hmm. I don't. I could care less.
Right.
But what I do want you to know is that in every diet, there's an inherent possibility of you eating foods that cause inflammation. Mm-hmm. So I wrote the vegan and vegetarian cookbook not to say that you need to be vegan or vegetarian. Certainly eating more plant-based is helpful, but I saw so many people coming to me that are vegans and vegetarians with nutritional deficiencies, with thyroid dysfunction, with hormonal issues, with weight gain. So I addressed some of the common problems that I see in typical vegan plant-based diets and discussed a way to get around them, how you can get vitamin D and B12 and magnesium and many nutrients that might be missing otherwise. Mm-hmm. And so we have some great dishes in there that are gorgeous, are so rich you could dye chocolate pie. We have the Persian dishes, we have Chinese dishes, we have stir fries, we have a lot of Indian dishes, chana masala, tandoori veggie burgers, all things that are really fun, super inexpensive to make, simple recipes, a lot of stuff that's already in your pantry, and you just need to whip them up, put it together, and throw it out for everybody to enjoy.
It sounds delicious as well, too. I'm ready to do that. Stir fry is one of my favorites. And you talked about plant burgers as well, too. What are your thoughts on the plant burgers they're selling at current restaurants right now in the States?
Oh, my God, that stuff is such processed crap. It's really awful.
I was saying the same thing to my family. It's like, plant-based. It's like, from what plant? That's what you wonder. Is it from grass, dandelions, from your front yard or something, or what?
Yeah, I mean, there's some pretty awful ingredients in there. The amount of saturated fat is really high in that. It's actually higher than beef burgers. The amount of sodium that's in there is really high as well. So, if you're a vegan or a vegetarian and you want to eat out, it's a nice option, but it's certainly not a healthy option, and that's something that's really important to remember.
Mm-hmm. And that's very important as well, too. And once again, where can we get the books at, the plan and the Metabolism Plan?
You can order them on Amazon. That's always a good choice. Barnes & Nobles will have it as well. But, check it out. You can check out the website. I'm definitely on Facebook and Instagram. I post daily, lots of fun, free recipes, and a lot of information. So people say that I'm a contrarian, but at the end of the day, for you to find out what works for you and not for your best friend or some movie star that you're following on Instagram, you do a little detective work, and it really pays off.
Mm-hmm. And it certainly does pay off. And Nicole, you talked about restaurants as well, too. Let's talk about our favorite in a minute. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look on professional website without break your own budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and over 25 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter, and stay up to date with the latest updates on the Mike Wagner Show page on Facebook as well. And show your support as well. We'll tell you how. We're here with author and nutritionist Lyn Genet-Recitas here on the Mike Wagner Show with the plan and the Metabolism Plan. And also you've got a restaurant as well too in New York, and it's also one of our favorites. And let's talk about that.
Yeah, actually, that's how I found out about you. Someone that you had interviewed, Paulina, is one of our regulars there. I opened up a restaurant a year ago. We're super excited about it. Once again, it's all about the healthy comfort food. So we make calzones with 00 flour, and we ferment it, which is one of the finest flours in the world. We've got our chicken parmesan with zucchini noodles. We've got our chicken and broccoli stir fry, falafels, our lamb burgers, amazing. So there's lots of fun stuff. As a nutritionist, it's really fun to be in a restaurant and to see how easy it is as a restaurateur to cut the corners. But it's really important that you don't, and that you invest in the health of your community. And we do that. We make specialty cocktails with herbs from my garden and special teas. We call it guilt-free drinking. Mm-hmm. A lot of fresh juices, watermelon, cucumber, pineapple, fresh ginger juice. So it's a really wonderful experience to be able to go out and have a dinner where everybody can eat, whether you're vegan and gluten-free. I mean, how many times do you go out to dinner with friends and you're trying to find a restaurant that everybody can eat at, right?
Right, exactly. And I'm looking at the menu right now. It's like, for the small plates, I like those croquettes. I also like the vegetarian spring rolls, larger plates, seasonal greens with goat cheese. You also got the vegan soups, and you got burgers and fries, cheddar cheese, goat cheese, bacon or guacamole, lamb burgers, chicken satay, pizza kits. Oh, my gosh. I mean, you're making me hungry already, and I can go for some red wine as well, too. And, yeah, a little bit of a ginger margarita. I mean, this is just fantastic. And before we go hog wild over this, where's your restaurant located?
It's in Harlem. It's actually technically in Hamilton Heights. So everybody knows Hamilton the musical. It's right down the street from the Alexander Hamilton Mansion and City College. We're by Columbia University. It's a beautiful little enclave on the Hudson River. Lots of brownstones, great community. And I'm really happy to be there. We're super excited. It's a family-oriented neighborhood, and we're close to everywhere.
Mm-hmm. And it's amazing, too, and she can give you more information about that. And, of course, lastly, you also have a staff as well, too, that if you need specific help on what foods you can eat and cannot eat or what's causing this, you also have a staff of consultants and nutritionists on board. You can tell us about that service.
Yeah, we have a whole team of our nutritionists. Many of them are personal trainers, they're doctors, they're nurses, and they've all been trained by me. And they teach you how to help find the foods and the exercise that work for your body. And once again, there's nothing that's more important than understanding that what's healthy for me may not be healthy for you. And every time you read a study, if it works for 70% of the population, somebody like your doctor is going to say, you should follow this diet. Mm-hmm. But what if you're the 30% it doesn't work for?
Right.
That's very important.
Right, exactly. And then how can people, get in touch with a specialist?
Oh, they can just email our office, info@lyngenet.com. And my wonderful office manager, Jackie, will help you. And I personally review all the health history forms and set you up with a nutritionist that is best suited for you and for your goals.
That is fantastic. Once again, author and nutritionist Lyn Genet-Recitas here on the Mike Wagner Show. And just a few more things here before we wrap up. Who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Oh, gosh. That's a hard one. That is really hard. I've been influenced by so many wonderful nutritionists over the year and chefs. And I'm lucky enough to have met so many of them in person. I definitely have to say Dr. Oz was super important in my career, so I want to thank him very much for having me on. Alice Waters is a chef that I got to meet several times. Very influenced by her. So I have to say I'm really blessed. People have really taken me under the wing and have helped me, and I'm always looking forward to pay it forward too.
That sounds amazing. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Always believe in your dream. When people were saying to me that there's no way this can be true and, you're crazy and this is voodoo that you're talking about, I couldn't, for the first time in my life, I could not listen to people that were saying negative stuff about my work because I was seeing with my own eyes that I was working. So I'm not out to convince somebody that doesn't believe in me. All I wanted to do was help the people that were coming to me. And I always believed that every person I worked with would tell at least 10 people about my work, and that's what wound up happening.
Mm-hmm. And that's amazing as well, too. Once again, author and nutritionist Lyn Genet-Recitas with the Plan and Metabolism Plan here on the Mike Wagner Show. Lyn, a big thanks for your time. You've been amazing and looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date, and once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What can we expect from you from 2020 and beyond? Your website, how do people contact you, and where can people purchase your books?
Well, we're looking to open up in San Diego. San Diego is a super big base for me, although I have a lot of friends. I actually have 2 nutritionists in Chicago, so that's something to think about as well. You can find out, the good thing about me is my name is super easy to Google. So Lyn Genet, Lyngenet. You'll find all sorts of stuff that'll come up on Instagram, on Facebook, my website. So that's easy. Just remember Lyn Genet, which now you're saying like a pro, Mike.
Thank you very much. And where can people purchase your book set?
Oh, you can purchase them on Amazon or Barnes & Nobles. Check out your local library. It's bound to be there. Ask a dear friend to loan you a copy because it's pretty amazing. It really will change your life.
It certainly has as well, too. By talking to you, Lyn Genet, a big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date, and looking forward to have back on 2020 and beyond. And, yeah, I will come hungry to your restaurant.
Yeah, come on by. We'll have a glass of wine or a margarita together.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, Custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.